Greetings, Auto Subs, VideoJames, and today we're going to be looking at how to use Kingdra. So, if any of you don't know, or as some of you may have seen, Volcarona is actually getting a slight bit more meta now. That we are beginning to see a little bit more Volcaronas, and it is actually getting a bit more meta to run Psychic on Volcarona as well, instead of Giga Drain. So, I figured it would be a good idea to do a how to use that is kind of a counter to Volcarona. That since it's becoming a new meta, we should probably think of a way to counter it, and we already know of a bunch of ways to counter Tapu Koko, so I figured why not just do one for Kingdra. So Kingdra, Water Dragon type, meaning we aren't going to really get many weaknesses, that we're actually only going to be getting two of the 3 dragon weaknesses. That with our dragon typing, we are actually losing our weakness to grass and electric, and at the same time, our water typing is losing our weakness to ice. So we will only be getting damaged super effectively by Dragon and Fairy, while we will actually be gaining a resistance to Steel, Water, and Fire, making us a very good resistor, that with everything basically damaging us neutrally, unless we see something that's getting a stat boost, we're not really going to get hit that bad. That will be at least a 2-hit KO. So we see Gudra's abilities. We got Swift Swim. When raining, the Pokemon speed doubles, but it won't double on the turn that the rain begins. So it's kind of basically just a speed boost without a speed boost, which is actually a very good ability. And then we have Sniper. Power of critical hit moves is increased to 225% rather than 150%. Now with Kingdra, that actually works out really well. And then we get the hidden ability Damp. Kind of not what I would expect. I would honestly expect either Sniper or Swift Swim to be the hidden ability, because Damp is actually not very useful on a Kingdra. That we almost never see a reason to run Damp on a Kingdra unless we're doing double battles and we're running a, say, Galvanize or Self-Destruct Golem, and then we just use that to kind of protect ourselves. But it also cancels out the explosion, meaning the explosion kind of doesn't really work. Looking at Kingdra's stats, we see we have a good amount of stats. That we've got 95 in almost every stat, except for the 75 in the HP and 85 in the speed. So Kingdra can go either way, that it can be a kind of speedy setup, or speedy sweep, or it can be a tanker, that depending on how you run it, Kingdra can go 2 ways. So we see the first Kingdra set is actually a Choice Spec Swift Swim set. Now the idea behind this set is you basically want to run it with something like Gudra. That Gudra sets up Rain Dance and it doesn't take too much damage from a special attacker. With Gudra not taking too much damage from a special attacker, then we can kind of just set up with him. And since he does have the same weaknesses as Kingdra, but it also gets a lot more weaknesses, some people might try to target him instead of the Kingdra, so he can be a kind of good decoy. So the idea is set up with something that uses Rain Dance, and then just use Kingdra Swift Swim to kind of just wreck house. That we've got maxed out special attack and speed, so with the choice specs we will actually be hitting into the 500s with this. That will be hitting somewhere around 567, and we will actually be getting a decent amount of speed, so we'll be outspeeding quite a few things, especially if it's like a 100 with no boost. And we see we got Skull just for that water damage, plus the chance to burn, so we could cut off a physical attacker's possibilities if we do get that chance to burn. And then we got Dragon Pulse just for that massive damage from Dragon. Ice Beam, kind of just for that countering, that Dragon type's not really a favorite of Ice Beam. Some of the flying types that are going around now, Ice Beam kind of counter them as well. And then we have Clear Smog as a counter for Fairies. Now Clear Smog is a very good move. So if you don't know what it does, Clear Smog is a 50 power, 100% accuracy poison move that basically cancels out any stat changes on the target. So you use Clear Smog on, say, a Xerneas the first turn it gets a Geomancy off with the Power Herb, and you have Kingdra out that exact same turn. You go Clear Smog with the Choice Specs, and you're doing massive amounts of damage to that Xerneas while shutting it down almost the exact same time, meaning it will have to try and Moonblast you to actually kill you efficiently. It's actually a Dragon Dance rest set. So we see we got Chesto Berry on this with the Sniper ability. Now the reason for the Sniper ability instead of Swift Swim is that with Dragon Dance we're kind of making Swift Swim a little bit irrelevant. That with Kingdra's lack of immense weaknesses, we can kind of get the chance to set up almost 2 Dragon Dances and then just go for rest and get our health back and wake up with the Chesto Berry, and then we can just go for massive damage. That with Outrage, we have 120 base power on a Dragon move. That's going to kill a lot of stuff after 2 Dragon Dances. So we have Waterfall. Waterfall with the Sniper ability, if we get that chance to flinch, plus the chance to land a critical hit, then we'll be doing massive amounts of damage and getting payback at the same time. And Waterfall does actually land flinches a lot of the time. That a lot of the time when I've used Waterfall, I'd say about 75% of the time it landed the flinch. And then we see we got maxed out HP, kind of just make us a little bit bulkier, and then maxed out attack, just to give us that massive amount of attack damage with the adamant nature. Now we see the next set is actually a trapping Kingdra. Now this is actually one of my favorite Kingdras, because no one ever expects Kingdra to be trapping anymore. That since Gen 4, Kingdra kind of lost the accessibility to Whirlpool, but it's still a very good trapper. No one ever expects Kingdra to be a trapper. They always expect stuff like Heatran. That Heatran gets Fire Spin, Toxic, Rest, and Eruption, so it's doing massive amounts of damage, and it's keeping you locked in at the same time. However, Kingdra can do that exact same thing without the damage. That with the Binding Band and Whirlpool, Kingdra's Whirlpool will actually get a lot more damage than it would normally. So we see we got Binding Band with Swift Swim. Again, you do kind of want to set this up in Rain Dance if you can. You don't really have to, I would say, since it's more of a bulky set, but you can. So the idea is we got Whirlpool just for that trapping in, and then Toxic to kind of slowly damage our opponent, and then we just rest up to gain our health back. And then we can Sleep Talk in case they somehow manage to break through. That if they use something like U-Turn to manage to get out of the Whirlpool or to get out of the Toxic, then we actually just kind of use Sleep Talk and get back the Whirlpool or Toxic. But it really does suck when Sleep Talk lands on Rest, because it basically becomes absolutely irrelevant, or when we get Sleep Talk and we wake up. So then we see we got 200 in the HP, 52 in the defense, to kind of just give us that little extra bit of bulk, and then we just got maxed out special defense with the Calm nature. So since we're running Calm, we're not really going to be using any physical moves, and on this set we're basically not really going to be using any damaging moves except for Whirlpool anyway, that with Whirlpool being our only really attack move, it's going to really be our only damaging move as well. Now we see the final Kingdra set is actually a Scope Lens Sniper set. So we see the idea behind this set is we have Sniper. So our critical hit chance, or critical hit power, is raised efficiently. And then we have Focus Energy, raises our critical hit chance by 1. Scope Lens raises our critical hit chance by 2, meaning we'll be getting a extra 2.5 chance to land that critical hit. And we see we got Outrage for that massive amount of damage, plus Waterfall for that massive amount of damage and the chance to flinch, making it get that double combo that I talked about earlier. And then we got Iron Head, again, kind of just counter fairies, but it also does the same thing as Waterfall, that it does get that chance to flinch. And then we see we got maxed out attack and speed, that with this kind of Kingdra set, you are going to actually want speed a lot more, since the Focus Energy and Scope Lens will kind of be raising your attack higher anyway. And since our speed is actually very high for what we're trying to go for here, the Kingdra can actually outspeed a lot of stuff. That with 85 base speed and the max investment, that Kingdra can actually outspeed a lot and still manage to land the hits that it needs to. So that's basically it for how to use Kingdra. Like I said, Volcarona is becoming very meta now, so it might be a good idea to start running Kingdra. I don't really suggest using a trapping set on a Volcarona though. I would honestly suggest using a Scope Lens Sniper set on a Volcarona, just because that's probably one of the better things to try and do against a Volcarona, that you don't really want to keep that thing in because of how it sets up, that you kind of just want to get rid of it as fast as possible. But anyway, I'm going to leave this video here. If any of you have suggestions on Pokemon you want to see me do videos on, down in the comments, let me know. And if you guys did like this video, you can slap the like button as always, and I will see all you beautiful people in the next video.